3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the wonderful Wednesday hump day, Dennis and Andy show. We're here as always, 5 p.m. on a Wednesday. You know where to find us, right here in my office, man cave, studio, whatever you want to call it. Dennis takes the long drive over because he just loves hanging out with me.
Yep, it feels like a sauna every time. It's a balmy, like 85 degrees in here. The sun's out, and Andy's still got 2 layers of clothes on.
I do have 2 layers on.
Man, and I'm sweating. Watch this.
Oh, God. I don't need your COVID stuff all over me. Gross. That is disgusting. Today we have a special guest. H.H. German is with us. He's the creator of Here Comes Calico right here. These are the first 3 issues. He hooked me up with these, and we're going to talk about this with him and about the book and everything and how he came up with it and all that fun stuff. And around 5:30, we'll delve into the new comics and stuff because we always like to show you guys what books we're getting. And we'll go from there. But without further ado, here's Mr. German himself. Hello there, H.H. How are you?
Hello, Andy and Dennis. How you guys doing? And hello, COMICS H.H.
That's right.
Welcome. Glad to have you.
Yeah, we're doing good, man. We're doing good. How's it where you are? Is it cold up there?
Well, I was jealous hearing about how nice and warm it is over there because it's not
85. It's not 85 outside. Outside, it's a balmy 57.
However, Andy keeps his studio like a sauna. So after a nice workout, you don't have to worry about going there. You can just walk into Andy's studio and relax in your very nice sauna.
That's because I don't like to wear pants when I work. So I like it nice and warm. But I have pants on now. Have no fear.
That's because it's Wednesday, and that's a rule. Pants Wednesdays, or I can't come over.
What do you mean? You're the one that puts the pants on me.
Oh, God.
Dennis is such a big guy. I know it's hard to tell. He's such a big guy that he can roll me up like a baby and put pants on me like you do a toddler.
It's like a diaper.
It is. So I don't know what you're talking
All right.
about.
I know.
It's good you guys are having fun over there. That's good.
That's right.
We always do. We always do. And they know, like I said, we've got our live show here. It'll go up there. So all of you, if you do get a chance, and I know a lot of you are driving home now, and if you're watching it, get to a stoplight, you can always text in on there and ask any questions. But we kind of want to start off because we met you at a convention.
Charleston.
It was.
That's right.
Charleston. Yep.
That's right.
And it was cool. We were walking by and you wound up stopping us. And you said, had you heard of Here Comes Calico? And we were like, nope. But we need to find out more.
That's right.
So we got to find out. Calico, we showed you some pictures. And later on, we already got it in the description, everybody. You'll be able to check out his website and everything. But I loved what I was reading, and the artwork was really neat. And it was different going through the 3. And there's definitely, in my mind, a different tone as it progresses. So why don't you tell our readers how you came up with this and how this all came to be?
Right. Well, before I start, I want to get a little malt liquor in before I...
Oh, man.
Malt liquor! We've been having conversations about this. Andy has never had a malt liquor.
No, dude, you got to go to this. There's a dude, his channel is called Steel Worldwide. And all the guy does, I just subscribed to it. You know who I'm talking about, don't you?
Malt liquor, baby, Steel.
Steel.
Oh, my God.
So, dude, check it out. All he does on his channel... He wears a mask, kind of like Cecil does.
Yeah.
He's got like a pizza open in front of him. He's always in his garage, so you can see part of his car. and he just goes off talking about stuff. But whenever he drinks his malt liquor, it's always a 40. He kicks it back, and he always has his thumb up like that.
Oh, I'm gonna have to
And then as soon as he's done drinking it, he puts it down.
That's my shout out to COMICS, and it was something I was telling you, Andy. When and Dennis, when I first met you guys, and you just brought up the question as well. I hadn't been involved in comics for many years since I was a teenager, reading them, and I was very fortunate to have read comics during an enormously talented era. This was the mid 80s to the early 90s. Okay. So I picked up my first comic book around 84, an Avengers comic book, and put down my last one. It was probably an Image comic book, probably around 93, 94. And this is because I was training. I was already in school and I was training for fighting. And my life was very extremely busy at this time. And man, I joined the corporate workforce like, a lot of people, and I worked really hard for many years, and 2020, the pandemic hits. Okay.
Sure.
So, and one of my friends is a novelist. She got a nice book deal, and we celebrated for her. And she says, "Hey, why don't you get one of your ideas off the shelves? You have this idea you've been talking about." And this was an idea about an animal lover. Okay. So I started Here Comes Calico out as a novel. Okay. After about a week of fiddling with the outline, it became clear to me that the protagonist lent himself wonderfully for a comic book format. Okay. So I pursued the outline more as a comic book outline. And sure enough, it was just a wonderful read as a comic book. Sure. And we really were able to flow. The story was able to flow very nicely, sequence to sequence, with the storyline. And then I went about the matter of trying to find creative talent to render this idea. Okay, so here I'm writing this script for this, and I went to the School of Visual Arts in New York City. Okay,
oh, cool.
Yeah, and what's funny is at the time I didn't realize how many well-known artists were from Marvel and DC were from the School of Visual Arts. So I say, let me get a kid some experience and have him work on this, this story with me here. And as I'm looking at the faculty information to speak to one of the teachers, I come across the name Klaus Janson.
Oh, yeah.
And I say, holy crap, look at this. I didn't know Klaus Janson was involved with this. I mean, I got a ton of his, comics he was doing back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
So let me roll the dice here and see if I can reach out to this guy and see if he'll even, acknowledge my email. So I send him an email and don't hear anything back. Days go by, nothing, crickets. Okay. I'm at a barbecue in Brooklyn about a week later, and I get a text on my phone, an email. Hey, I got your information. This is great. I love the idea. Here's my cell phone. And I was just in cloud nine. The rest is history. The rest is history. He gave me, I mean, frankly, if I would have put out, okay, because I was the first one who sketched the Calico. If I put out what I had, it would have been a disaster. And I'm very thankful for people like Klaus Janson, who was a guiding force of this project, because frankly, it's because of him that the Calico look is so polished and professional. Cool. So, and we get a lot of compliments. So that's your answer. That's how it all started. It started with my love of comics and having wonderful support. And I would say the third layer is having a deep passion for fighting and fighting against bullying, and in this case, bullying against animals. So
yeah, I assumed you had, after reading it, there was a lot of details. There's a lot of subtleties about fighting and stances and waiting for your moment, expending energy and letting him do it while blocking. So I kind of wanted to find out, and I'm like, I know you had fighting experience in your life. So what is it? Right.
So I grew up in a very conservative, and let me be clear with your audience. I'm from New York. I'm not a COMICS member. I'm not a right-wing person. I'm a New Yorker, independent kind of guy. I grew up in a very conservative area. Believe it or not, New York does have conservative areas. Sure. So
growing up in a tough, rough Italian neighborhood, you had to fight. Everybody had to fight. I don't care where your background was from.
Yep.
And I learned how to fight, frankly, in the street. And eventually I honed my skills in boxing gyms. My first trainers were, a lot of people don't realize this. Boxing in the gyms, it's not like you go to like what do you do this? Like box aerobics and you do it boxing as an exercise.
Yeah.
This is the boxing as a sport. So when you go into these gyms, depending on what neighborhood you're going into, it's going to be a dramatically different style of boxing. When you go into a boxing gym in Lowell, Massachusetts, I'll tell you right now, you're going to find a very tough body punching system style of fighting. A lot of Irish. Okay, boxing is very, very cultural. Okay,
right.
You do the same thing in like the West Coast, in the Southern California. A lot of Mexican influence there, and they're very much pressure fighters in your face. If you go to Philly, it's a totally different style of fighting. It's a very rough but distance and ranged type of fighting. In New York, we have a very different style. It's more very stylish, okay, but very rough as well. Okay, so if you marry stylish with rough, so all these flavors, okay, I brought into the comics because I was a fighter. So I learned how to fight, and the essence. And here's my issue, and this will sort of go into another topic, but the essence of comic books is conflict. Okay, if you strip down any comic book and you bring it down to its very essence, okay, you know what you can do with a computer? You can bring it down to MS-DOS, which is like the lowest level of, when you have a computer, when you want to do a power saver and bring it down, and get less. The essence of comic books, and I want everyone who's on this show, who's listening, to understand this, especially if you guys are creators. The essence of comics is conflict. Okay, the superheroes have a conflict with evil. It's good versus evil. Okay, and this is the fundamental issue that isn't understood today with these people who are doing comics in Marvel, especially in Marvel and DC. Okay, and why these comics are crap. You need to understand what violence is, what fighting is, and how this good guy is going to beat this bad guy, and how you're going to overcome this using justice and positive energy to overcome this. And that's what we bring to comics. So we have a fundamental, whatever we lack, we don't lack the fundamentals, and that's understanding the conflict between good and evil in comics.
Sure.
That's awesome. So you've got this idea, you've got this story, you've got this script written out.
Right.
How did you got to have somebody who's going to draw it? So how did you wind up hooking up with your artist, and how did that come about?
Right. So listen, as difficult a time it is to live today, in certain respects, it's a great time to live with respect to communication and technology. Because there's so much, and you can vouch for this, there's just so much incredible talent out there that you can glean through the internet and all these mediums that allow you to sort of tap into this creativity and reach out and say, hey, that's pretty cool there. What do you what do you think of this idea? What do you think about working on something like this? So we reached out on sites like Deviant Art, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
There's another one. Right. There's another one called ArtStation or Artist Station, something like that.
Yep.
I think that's what it's called. And Instagram is another one that we used.
Sure.
So we just put a lot of feelers out. And my two criteria, man, you guys are asking great questions. My two criteria were, do you understand violence and conflict? And two, can you render cities, specifically New York City? New York City is the backup. The what do you call this? What do you call the guy who?
It's almost a character unto itself.
Right, but when you rob a bank, the accomplice? There you go.
Oh, the accomplice. Yeah.
New York City's the accomplice. Okay.
That's what Dennis is. He's my accomplice.
Yeah, he's my sidekick.
He's my getaway driver.
So you had to have New York City as the accomplice. I didn't want an artist who didn't understand how to render these beautiful backgrounds that we have here in New York City. These gritty backgrounds, these tough, very ominous looking backgrounds. And it was so important to capture that. And I think that's lost today. I'm going to keep referring to today's comics. When I say today's comics, I'm talking about the big two. which is why, I like what's going on with Comicsgate, because there is a fundamental understanding about how to create a product for an audience that really fits the bill.
Yeah, and there's a number of different ones. So there's independent, there's the comic creators, which are phenomenal. We were just talking, I just cracked open my Alien Alamo, so I can't wait to do a review on that one, which was fantastic. There's also a lot of small presses out there, Small Point Press, Vault Comics, Aftershock. There's all these small ones out there, and it's again another great place for talent to go. Writers and artists, they're coming together. They're putting out phenomenal books. We get introduced to them all the time, and then you've got your bigger ones. But honestly, it's a lot of these smaller independent comics, either through Indiegogo or in Kickstarter, or through the small publishers that are really bringing a lot of life and flavor to the comic industry right now.
Dennis, we've met each other twice now, once in person and once we're here. And one thing about me, I don't mince words. I basically speak, I say what I speak, and I'm very straight up. That's what happens. Us people from the Bronx, we're like that. I'm going to tell you something. I learned about Andy on the show called Comic Artist Pro Secrets with Ethan Van Sciver, that one. Okay. He has a show called the Comicsgate Kings.
Yeah.
The reason I watched that show is because, despite the fact all the incredibly offensive things I heard about this group, what I'm seeing is incredibly talented people who really, really love comics, hanging out and just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
People just don't understand. Guys hanging out, they're going to say whatever they're going to say. It doesn't mean that they 100% are, serious about everything they say. It's called joking, folks. They're having a good time, having some beers. And again, this is the problem I have with today's age in comics, where you can't just hang out and enjoy just a beer with someone and talk just freely and just shoot the shit and hang out and make fun of stuff. But a reason I bring that up is because we serve as a comic book platform that's doing something incredible for animals. Okay. In other words, we have comics for a cause. Okay.
Yeah.
I watch that show because it's inspiring. I feel really good when I see people who have been frankly bullied, in this case, ostracized by an industry that's supposed to be supporting you. Okay.
Right.
No one in a creative capacity, art, comic books is about creativity and art. It is incredible to me that there's anything happening in an industry like this that is antagonistic. The definition of creativity is to cultivate, to grow, and to create something, and to support. Okay, so here I am, and I again open up back into comics in 2020, and I learn about what's happening in comics. Well, there's only two shows that YouTube channels that we subscribe to, and that's there's one called Thinking Critical, and another one's called Perch, Comic by Perch. And they're just not biased. They tell things the way it is. And this is how we learn about, it's how I learned about Comicsgate. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about social justice or all this other stuff. But when I did my homework, okay, and it was my turn to research things for myself, I said, you know what? These people are doing something positive for comic books. The same way Sigma Comics is doing something positive for animals, we're fighting animal abuse through comics. Comicsgate is trying to support creatives, okay, who are genuinely passionate about their art form and putting them out there so that other people can learn about their art and they can grow their business that way. Because the big two, shameless and shameful that they are, aren't doing it. They're supporting a different type of creativity. And it's very unfortunate. And that I'm very thankful for that, because that's how I got to learn about Andy's art, and of course Dan's art as well, which I think is phenomenal. And you guys are doing a really great job. Love those books. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, because we notice at the end of every one, and I'll kind of show everybody this, and on it, it's the Animal Institute, Welfare Institute, and you've got it on there. So so that becomes an entire topic in of itself. Is your stories deal directly with it. So what brings out this personal aspect? Did you encounter it, or what? Besides having a love for animals, which obviously a lot of us do, So you're dedicating it to help out the Animal Welfare Institute. How did that come about, and that you decided I needed to make a comic book specifically dealing with this?
Right. So I grew up in the Bronx, as I mentioned. Seen a lot of rough things. One of those was seeing people bullied. And some other things I saw was being animals bullied that were much smaller than people. And frankly, that's one of the reasons I really started becoming more offensive in fighting. Because early on in my, my street fighting career, I was more defensive.
Sure.
And once I started seeing those little animals being hurt, then that's when, I started putting out some right hands and uppercuts and things like that. And it felt good because you knew that to you, it was victory of another person, but to the animal, it was, being saved. Okay.
Right.
It was survival. So that never, when you have an experience like that, I don't know if you guys have ever witnessed something like that, an animal being hit and, in a very malicious fashion. Okay. Because you can.
No, I'm lucky. No, I never.
Everybody we know that I've ever dealt with, they're all dog and or cat lovers or rabbits or guinea pigs. So fortunately, I have not experienced anything like that because I'm allergic to them and I'm still an animal lover and it doesn't matter. I'll come up and pet them and then go wash.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I don't mean, discipline because, that's one thing. And obviously there's levels of discipline, right? But I'm talking about actual, you're trying to cause this thing harm, spoil little.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, I did witness that. And the claws came out and I had to do what I had to do. And like I said, to me, it felt good. But for the animal, it's survival. So then what you do is you take the animal and you put them in a healthy situation. Sure. So and that really was the impetus for that. And then I would say later on, my best friend, Steve, he actually, it's funny, while he was fishing, he shows me this. He said, Hans, look at this, man. Look at this video. And it was a snuff video. It was a video, of a poor little dog in this asshole. Yeah, if you look at the first page, the very first page of issue 1, I saw that, Dennis. I saw it with my own eyes.
See, I was wondering.
Yeah, and I was speechless. The rage that boiled up. And you look at the second page and the third page of the Calico hitting that double end bag. If I were to turn my camera around, in my apartment, you would see a double end bag, just like Hector has in his apartment. Okay, I hit that thing every day.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
So I exercise my demons just like he does, in the ring. I exercise them here in the apartment because, I don't want to catch COVID or anything.
Well, you know what? It's funny. It's funny. It's not funny. What I'm going to say is, you hear a story, for instance, on the news where they're like, oh, and this dude broke into this house and killed these 2 people, and you're just like, oh, that's awful. And then they go, and the dog, and you're like, what? Yeah, he did what? And people get we're so desensitized because we know people hurt other people, which is wrong, of course. Right. But you just can't imagine somebody wanting to hurt a defenseless, dog, cat, any type of animal, and it is true. You hear that on the news and you're just so used to, and then unfortunately this fire, a few people died in the fire and so did the pets. You're like, no, and it's just, we just have this bond with animals because they are part of the family.
They are part of the family. And there is a reason why John Wick became so popular. Yeah. It wasn't that he was beating the crap out of all these people. It was about the puppy. And that's what we go back to.
Two things. One, Andy, that's an excellent point. It's a visceral response, what you're talking about. It's visceral. Oh, yeah. Because it transcends the conscious. It goes into the subconscious. The bonds of love run very deep with these animals that are, as you pointed out, a family member, right? Oh, yeah. And to your point, Dennis, the second point, I still haven't seen that movie, which is crazy, John Wick. And everybody keeps telling, I know, Everybody keeps telling me
this weekend, go rent it.
There's there's three of them out now? Yeah, there's 3 of them. That's your weekend right there.
Yeah, I definitely have to see it, and it's definitely on my to-do list. It's just that, you know, when I came up with this, well, Andy, you know this as an illustrator, because you can focus in on your art and hours go by, you don't eat, you are consumed with that piece. And it's the same thing for writers, for us writers. We can just go on, you know, a friend of mine was like, how the hell can you not go, you haven't eaten your first meal till 6 o'clock? I could do it.
Sure.
You know, I can go a whole day when I do the comic book conventions. I don't eat at all. I stand there the whole time. I don't take a bathroom break.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, doing a con is a mindset where I just know that I'm going to I'll eat a larger breakfast going into a con because I know I'm not going to eat till dinner.
Right.
So, and then you're just in a certain type of mindset. At least I am when I'm at a convention. I'm in a certain mindset. Same with working.
Yeah.
You know, I'll get at my desk and sometimes just half the day goes by and I'm like, crap, I got to eat.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's totally it. And I can see it in your work, you know, and again, I'll keep going back to today's comics. When I look at your artwork, you know, especially the First Man, there is an enormous amount of motion and action happening. I mentioned this. I've never seen one page that is boring. Okay. I picked up a book. I was on Wes's show on Thinking Critical the other day, and I picked up a book. It was a Wolverine comic recently. And, you know, 15 pages go by. They're just walking through the woods. Somebody's having a meeting in this dark room, and people are having coffee. What the hell is this? What is this? What the hell is going on here? That's not happening in any of the books that I've seen, you know, that you guys put out. Right. And it's a testament, again, it gets a testament to the quality of the product, folks. For you guys that are in the audience who are younger than 30, back in the day, okay, in the 80s and 90s, when, you know, Andy and I were reading comic books, I can guarantee you that there were maybe 2 pages of people doing what you just heard me say, sitting around talking. Everything else, people going through windows. This was a Wolverine comic book. There was not one page in a Wolverine comic book where teeth weren't broken. Someone was going through windows. Someone was getting their pants ripped out.
That was the 90s, man. That was great stuff. Well, you know, that's what I want out of comics.
Right.
You had Babes in Battle. That was basically the 90s.
That's right.
Right. And listen, it's fun. And that's the fundamental thing. Okay, it's conflict, but then right above that layer of conflict, which has to be a very strong layer, by the way, your foundation.
Sure.
You put a layer of entertainment. And what's entertainment? We want to see sexy girls. We want to see long hair. We want to see shortcut dresses. We want to see fists, punches, bottles broken, all that great stuff. This is America, man. We love things big. We love things fast, action. And this is what a wonderful product does. It entertains you, and it gives you that fundamental of conflict. Good versus evil. And that simply is not understood. You got kids that are working Marvel DC right now that are being put in writing jobs who've never been in a fight. How the hell are you going to write about conflict, okay, good and evil, if you've never even been in a fight? You've never even been punched in the face. This is crazy.
Some of them haven't even had jobs yet. They are literally getting their first job in there. There's no real world experience. And it shows. Everything oozes out that it's inexperience, and there's no real life expectations and experience in these people that are creating books.
Right. Listen, there's a lot of rage and disappointment. You know, one is, it hurts me as someone who is a creative person to know that a certain group has been ostracized, okay, that has been marginalized. That really pisses me off, actually. And this is not to say that, you know, like I said, I don't do politics. I don't do any culture war stuff. I do comics. Okay. And when I do comics for the animals, okay, that's what I do. But I recognize talent. Okay. And what I see at a Comics Gate isn't bigotry. I don't see any misogyny. I don't see any of that bullshit that I hear. What I see is guys hanging out, having a good time, putting together incredible comics. And that makes me proud. And not only does it make me proud, it gives me a sense of inspiration. It inspires me to go out and do some things. Give me goosebumps. Okay. Sure. And this is what we're missing. Do you think you're going to get goosebumps when you read these comic books today from Marvel DC? You're not going to get that, man. You're going to reach into your pocket and you're going to pay $6, $7 for a comic book. And then after 2 or 3 minutes, you're going to throw the thing away. Okay. I want to pay an affordable price for a good quality comic that can smack you right in the mouth. Okay. I play a lot of, my thing is I have a very Vince Lombardian approach, to comics. Very tough, smash mouth, football.
I do like that.
He's a Packers fan. How could you say?
Right.
Why would you have to use him?
Because it is Vince Lombardi, Titletown, Lombardi Trophy. It all comes back to the origins of football.
I mean, you could have just easily said, I have a Tom Landry approach.
No, nobody would do that, particularly from New York. Why would anybody from New York reference Dallas?
Not only from New York. I'm in Brooklyn right now, my friend.
That's
the
right.
home of Vince Lombardi. Okay, this man was raised listen. Vince Lombardi was raised a mile and a half from me.
Oh yeah,
where I am right now, and this is where we don't mess around here. We are not going to take your money. If I'm going to take $3, $4 from you for a comic book, okay, I'm going to make sure it's got enough kick in that damn comic book that you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pick up number 2 or number 3, issue number 3, because this man here really put his time, invested his heart and soul in this. And some of these, let's just say, some of these people in Marvel DC, they're basically picking up a paycheck, and it hurts me to say that, because some of these people are young and they're just starting out, as you pointed out, Dennis. We shouldn't bring them down, belittle them. We have to support them. Okay, even though you are not being supported by the big two.
Yep.
Okay, you have to not do the same thing that they're doing to you. You have to cultivate what you do. You got to just keep doing what you're doing. You're cultivating other people who are, and you're bringing people up. And that's what your group is doing. What you guys are doing is you're bringing people up. And that's what these people should be reporting on. Instead of calling you guys the bullshit that they're calling you, what they should be doing is looking themselves in the mirror and be ashamed of themselves, okay, and start supporting you. Okay, that's what they should be doing if they had any decency. So it just pisses me off when I see that. And I apologize for, sounding a bit.
Yeah, dude, it's all good.
No, it's good. Joe Bernardo, he was he mentioned earlier, and Andy had said, I'm kind of delving into the COMICS stuff. I had no idea what it was. And I was like, Joe, but I started hearing what some of these other creators, particularly from Marvel and DC, were saying. And it was hateful stuff. And I'm like, really? This is how bad things are? So I started delving into what COMICSgate was and what these independent artists were doing and saying. And the more that I found out, the more I realized they're interested in good stories, good books, and the industry, trying to get it to survive and put out quality products. So all this garbage that I had heard about in the fringe and in the Twitterverse did not jive with reality, with what was being told. And I said, dude, I have no problem doing this show because you know what? These are people that love their comics, their creations, and the art itself. I am down with that. Regardless if it's COMICSgate or independent publishers, you go tell your story because the fans will follow. And this is why we do it. So this isn't really a COMICSgate show that we do per se. But we back a lot of the projects from there. He's involved with them. And this is great stuff. And, not every book out there that everybody's going to produce, I'm going to go, yep, that's my cup of tea. But it doesn't matter because they are still have a great audience and they're putting out a phenomenal product.
100%, Dennis. Listen, I mentioned this before. I'm not COMICSgate. I'm not conservative. I'm not none of these things. Okay, I'm a New York guy who comes from a tough area, who's going to give you 100% right down the line, the actual 100% truth of what it is. What I can tell you right now is somebody who's not involved in this whole culture war nonsense that's going on. I'm going to tell you this, okay? The comic book industry right now is shocking, okay? I was shocked. My jaw was open when I picked up these comic books. When I see what COMICSgate's doing, I see quality. I see good quality stuff. And here's what I think. Here's my opinion of COMICSgate. Again, as someone who's not in it. I see people who are passionate about comics, who are very talented, who, in any group, you're going to have a few people that are going to say, mean things, maybe even bigoted things, et cetera, et cetera. You cannot brand an entire group for a few people that may have certain dispositions. What I see in that group is talent. I see hard work. I see dedication, and I see just a bunch of guys having a good time. Okay.
Yep.
Unfortunately, when I look at if that term SJW is a new one I've learned, if I'm saying it right. What I've seen in mainstream comics is a politicization, a politicization of comics, and comics aren't PSA. Comics are not PSA pamphlets. Okay, if you want those, you go down to the mailbox. I'm sorry, down to your post office, and they have nice little comics with stuff happening. You know, with what's his name, Fireman Bob, and what's the other guy, Smokey the Bear, and all that other stuff.
Well, not only that, but you know, if you want something like that, look, I remember in the '80s, George Perez drew the first one. It was a Teen Titans flavor. It was a book starring the Teen Titans, all about drug abuse and stuff.
Right.
But that was a one-off book for a specific reason.
Right.
You know,
it's important. It's important. Right. Good point. Good point, Andy. Listen, it's a good point to make. You can have that, but don't make people pay $7 every single month for this. Okay.
Right.
The points that this group is raising are valid. That's what I was trying to say.
Right. Yep.
Your art isn't good. Perch had a show there where he was saying every panel, you've got one Captain Marvel looking complete. She looks 40 pounds heavier in the next panel. And the next panel, she's 5'2", and the next one, she's 6 foot. I mean, the quality control, folks, it's just not there. And it angers me. This is why you're hearing passion for me. It angers me that comic book fans who have been investing think about how long some of these people, you know, just you guys reading comics since the 80s. Okay, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars. And you're going to disrespect people by saying, hey, you know, pay $8 for $7-8 for this comic book. Are you kidding me? You know, you are out of your mind. You have to respect these people. You have to give them good quality, good writing, compel them with a fundamental understanding of good versus evil, with a complex and layered storyline that goes somewhere, that has arcs and that has an overall plot that really captivates. That is the art of the writer, the artist, the editor, working in unison to put out a product that is consistent, that is palatable, that hits the mark 100% for an affordable price, and that respects the customer. That is not happening in comic books today.
I agree completely, and I really wish Hyper Kaiju was on it, and I know he'll watch this later. I've been collecting X-Men for 43 years now.
Wow.
And I've got them all from 1 to current, all X titles and stuff, and it's been so bad lately, and I keep saying I'm getting to the point where I may have to give up my X-Men, and if I do that, it'll be all the big two. I won't get anything. Today, I took my first step because I got a stack of the Wolverine. They got new Secret X-Men, which Michael, I know you're on the stream. Just because he said he's got an X in the title, you don't have to get it. Well, I do. I'm a completist. But I also get all the variant covers. So when issue 1 comes out, I may be picking up 6, 7 of the same issue because they got variant covers. I stopped today and said, I'll get 1 issue unless Jean Grey, she's my baby. Jean Grey, the Dark Phoenix. If she's on the cover, I'll take that. But I'm done with all variant covers. So I know you guys give me shit all the time out there. I took my first step today. I'm not going to support all this garbage anymore. I can't pull the trigger to say no, but if X-Men Green comes out, I did already say that will be the last one. I'll be done. But I took a step today, so you guys, you have to let me know your thoughts. But I'm not getting all the variants.
I'm so proud of you guys.
I know. I knew you were going to say that.
Well, listen, you're a prime example of you know, obviously a very educated, you know, customer of Big Two Comics. You've been along for the ride. You're a real, true, tried and true comic book fan. Okay, like what I consider a comic book expert. Okay, I'm going to say a couple of things. I know we're running long here, but I'm going to say a couple of things. Okay, I've been pretty hard on the people here, the Big Two, especially young people. Understand this if you're watching. This is not to attack you. And in fact, I don't even think the issue is your fault. I think the issue is your editorial teams, okay? The editorial teams are empowering you to do things without guidance, okay? I was very fortunate. I told Andy that I received guidance, okay? The guidance that I received, I respected. The man who gave me that guidance is someone who I've known for decades, who I profoundly respect, okay? The man gave me words Okay, and he spent a lot of time with me, many weeks going back and forth, telling me, no, H.H., you got to do this. This is not good. And I told him, listen, I said, Klaus, and he allowed me to call him that. I said, Klaus, I want you to be hard on me, okay? Even though I'm not your student at SVA, you got to treat me like one, because I need to understand what your vision, what you're seeing, okay? Because I have my vision for this, but I want your guiding vision, okay? Mine is the Calico vision. Yours is the guiding vision of quality, okay? And I took every word this man said and I put it to work, and I thank him very much. What I'm telling you guys, okay, you, Andy and Dennis, and the audience who's watching, is that the editorial teams from the big two are failing the creatives, okay? Yeah. There's a lot of wonderfully talented young people and old people, frankly, who are creating comics in Marvel and DC right now. They shouldn't be demeaned. Don't demean them. Don't hurt them. Support them and let them know that they're doing the things and they're just not doing it right. And they need to spend more time on their comics. The editorial, you blast. Okay, hit those I don't know if you can curse on this channel, but hit those guys. You know, hit them hard, the editorial team, because they're the ones who are doing an extremely poor job. And frankly, they're ruining comics. So, okay, the last thing I'll say is thank you so much for having me on the show. Here Comes Calico is a labor of love. I really love animals and I love comics. And if you're a hardcore comic book fan, okay, listen to what I'm about to tell you right now. Ignore everything I've just said, because what I'm saying is biased, and just go on the Indiegogo page for Here Comes Calico issue 4. Okay, there you go. That's going to be Here Comes Calico issue 4 Indiegogo, and just watch the video on the top of that page. You're going to find people who are indeed comic book experts, just like Andy and Dennis, who've been reading comic books since the 80s and 90s, okay? And they understand what good comics are. Listen to them. And after you listen to them, do yourself a favor and pick up one of these comics, okay? Pick up one. I don't care which one it is, if it's issue 4 or the whole pack. You're going to love this series, because let me tell you, just like with Andy's comics, there's not going to be one page that you're going to find boring. It's going to put you right on your seat of your pants. So get your favorite drink, lean back, and get ready for a nice experience like we used to have back in the 80s and 90s.
Yep, that's awesome.
Is there a link, by the way, real quick on the website?
Yeah, just refresh. Yeah, refresh the page right now. Just refresh it. Yeah, just refresh it, and then click on the top image. Oh, that's go to the home page. Click on the logo. Yeah, click on the logo. There you go. Just click on that.
There we go.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, I just want to take you to it. Yeah, so here's the link for that.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there he is. There's Ethan.
You recognize that guy on the
of course.
Everybody does.
Of course, man.
Yeah, and
definitely check this stuff out. This is really good stuff that HH is doing. It's good stuff. It's for a great cause. I got to tell you too, I love the fact that you're printing on like newsprint.
Oh yeah, I love that.
I love the feel of these.
Yeah.
It definitely, and it has that great comic book smell.
Yep.
So, definitely check this stuff out, guys. You won't be disappointed. It is really nice stuff.
And I did post a pin in there, the Animal Welfare Institute. It's awionline.org. So Excellent. You guys can go check that out. But why don't you just give your soapbox 30-second pitch about Here Comes Calico? What is it about? Because the suit intrigued me, and I really want to find out a little bit more. So give them a quick little bird's eye view so that intrigues them that they want to go click on it.
Okay, guys, Here Comes Calico is about a man who's really angry. He's angry at the way animals are treated in today's age. And he goes about the business of getting justice for them at all costs. Okay? People have superheroes, animals don't. Well, that's about to change. And here comes Calico. Calico goes right to the job of getting absolute and extreme justice for animals. So if you like action, if you like justice, and you like incredible story, listen, you can't go wrong. You're going to love this comic book. Get it.
Awesome.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Hold on here. Let me do this. Well, dude, thanks so much for coming on and stuff. We're gonna close out the show doing some normal stuff we usually do, but
because it's New Comic Wednesday, so we got to talk. And I picked up a lot of independent books.
Nobody cares. No.
You care.
I do care. I can't wait to see what Dennis spent his money on. But thanks for coming on, HH. Really appreciate it. And
Thanks, buddy.
I put the link in the chat so everybody can go to the Indiegogo. Please give it a look and pick it up. It's for a great cause, and it's a good entertaining comic book the way they should be. So
yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a great read, and I agree with you. The newsprint and the way it was done, I thought it was fantastic. It kind of harkened back to the old days in the way that, again, for those of us that are older, like I said, I praise comic books, and when I sit down and I go through the old comics like that, you rope up, you smell, it's because of what they were printed on. It's got some of that good flavor to it. So it was very enjoyable.
It's a multi-sensory experience that brings you right back to the way comics should be again. So, and Andy's doing it, we're doing it. So great stuff. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate your support. Thank you.
You got it, man. We'll talk to you later, man.
Take care, bud.
Bye-bye. That was very cool. It is fun stuff. So,
well, he was great when we met him, and I didn't know him at the convention, and it wound up being a great conversation that we had, and who knew? I mean, and he gave us some copies to check it out, and I really enjoyed it.
That was really cool. He gave me these three so I could read them, and then we kept in touch and stuff. So
yeah, he wound up talking
really
to
cool.
Andy, and then he gave me some copies, and we were talking about distribution and stuff. And I'm going to be doing a hashtag full review on the first 3 issues, because what we didn't get too much of a chance to talk about was there's definitely, you can tell his first issue, and then he kind of revised some stuff and changed an approach a little bit to the second one, and then the third one. And you can definitely see how each one gets better in the direction it's heading. So, I'm going to do the full review. So if you guys are interested, I'll try and get that up and reviewed by the weekend.
There you go. Let's see. Val wants to know, did we see the last episode of Boba Fett? I have not watched it yet. No spoilers.
Tonight.
No spoilers.
Andy and I, either tomorrow or Friday, we may do a special pop-up Boba Fett one, because we're all dying to see it. And I know Andy and Courtney are watching it tonight. And then as soon as I get home, my wife and I are sitting down to watch it.
Oh, Michael, another awesome guest. How does Andy keep finding people willing to admit that they know him? $5 goes a long way in today's market. That's how. $5. Great show. Having comics on newsprint. It is. And Joe, if you haven't checked them out, Michael, everybody watching, go click on the link to check out these books. All right, we're going to buzz through what the new stuff was that came out.
It wasn't a super huge week, but it wasn't a tiny week.
That's what she said.
I know.
So, hey, look, it's a New Mutants. That means it's a Dennis book.
It is. It is. It is a New Mutants book. And this book is one of the ones, as we just had in our conversation about,
is this issue about Chutes and Ladders, the game?
No, but again, Aida is the one who's writing this, and she's one of the new writers and stuff. It is just not my cup of tea. Let's just put it that way.
All right. Radiant Black, though, that is your cup of tea. This is a good superhero book from Image, Kyle Higgins.
Yeah, they got a new artist. So Megan is picking up some of the artwork, and I did check it out on the inside. I already did the quick flip of that, so it's already up. And it's consistent. I really like it. So I'm happy when they change out artists. You never know what you're going to get. So, no, this has been a good book. Radiant Black, Radiant Red comes out. Is it next month or the following month?
Oh yeah.
So we're going to start delving into the second of the Radiants right now, and that's been really cool.
That's right. I totally forgot that there is a new one coming out. So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what's next. Yep, I remember that. Oh, look, it's a Wolverine book. It is X Deaths of Wolverine.
I
don't even know what's the concept behind this.
There isn't one.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I am not overly fond of this, and there's actually one I don't even know yet. And I flipped through it, but that'll be coming up. I'll tell you when we get to it. Okay. It's a Wolverine book. I love Wolverine, but man, the stuff they're doing right now is just There it is.
Secret X-Men.
Mr. Michael Peterzo, he already, I no more than posted it. I uploaded it and he already posted it. Just because it's got X in it, Dennis, you don't need to buy it. Or do I? That's what I said. But honestly,
oh, Dennis, please stop buying bad X books. It's a beautiful cover, but you can't go wrong with Linnell Francis Yu doing a cover.
Nope.
The interior, I flipped through it. I gotta say the interior doesn't look too bad, but another X book, good lord.
So as my local comic shop, we were having our conversation today about it. There's, as we put it, there was a shit ton of X books, and they finally got through all the issues, and they're relaunching some like Marauders, and they're putting out a shit ton more of X books. And I'm just like, the problem is they can't write good story for all of them. What they should do is just focus on one or two books and put out a good, solid story. They can't help themselves because X-Men, like in DC, Batman is their cash cow. X-Men and Avengers are their cash cows. And that's just sad.
Scorched, this is a book that's, so Todd McFarlane is expanding the Spawn universe. He's got, besides the main Spawn title, there's also Gunslinger Spawn, and there's this book, The Scorched. This is issue 2. I got to admit, I like Steven Segovia's artwork. He's done a lot of stuff for Marvel, a lot of stuff for DC. The art inside is very cool. I know Dennis picked it up, and he even picked up #1 because he never saw this before.
Yep, I didn't see. Well, I may have been gone because that's what they had said. The cover caught me, and I'm just like, bam! The X books are the Cowboys of comics.
That would be the Giants. The Giants, man, it's funny seeing a Giants fan bag on the boys. Let me know you have a good team.
This year. We can say this year.
All right.
Now, I picked it up for that cover. I love it. I'm going to be doing the quick flip for #1, which is also a phenomenal cover. The interior artwork is really good. I haven't been following Spawn, so I'm going to do a read on this and find out maybe. But the artwork is what caught me on this, like a Perillo cover. Bam! I had to do. Anyway, we'll find out.
All right. King of Spies by Mark Miller and Matteo Scalera.
This has been great, and this became a conversation at the shop today because not only did I pick this up, multiple people that came in early wound up picking it up, and we had a conversation. This has really been good writing. It's been a fun title. So yeah. See, King Spawn, they tried to get me on to King Spawn today. And was it Gunslinger? Gunfighter? Gunslinger.
Brett Booth doing art.
Another one that I didn't know. So I don't know. This may or may not draw me back into Spawn.
For the love of God, Dennis.
Sorry, guys. A couple of the thumbnails, the next few are going to be bad. Anyway, it's Daisy. You can only make it so big.
Oh, I can make it big. I just got to do the button.
Oh, see? Yeah. So Daisy, I haven't got the quick flip done on that one yet.
Okay.
And Draculina.
I saw this. I got to admit, I thought the art looked pretty good.
It is. He had pretty much sold out already.
Is this Vampirello's sister or something? She has a black-looking costume that looks like Vampy's.
It's a new book that they're putting out. I had read up on it, and I'm like, you know what? They've been putting out such good ones. And he goes, now, even if there's not a Perillo cover, and I'm like, I kind of
Perillo cover.
No, but there's some really good ones. This was a good cover too, so I didn't mind it. I am picking this one up. I'm going to give this one a shot. So this one's a shot into the dark because I did drop all my other Marvel books other than my X books, and I think I've got Thor going, and that's all I've got left from and basic Star Wars. I've dropped all the rest. So
there you go, Jennifer Blood, Perillo cover.
Yeah, and that's wound up being a really good story. So Perillo drew me in for the cover, and I've continued to read it.
Well,
solid.
That's how it should be.
Life Zero.
Life Zero. There we go. Couldn't read
Yeah,
it till I blew it up.
Ablaze is again being a small publisher. They've been putting out some pretty interesting books. This is one that at least piqued my interest. Tomorrow I will be getting the quick flip up on it, so watch for that. But I'm crossing my fingers. I think this is a 4 or 5 issue miniseries or volume 1, so we'll find out. We'll see what happens with it.
See what happens.
Motel has been
Hotel. By the
a
way.
hotel, yeah. Like motel hell. That's what I always think of,
Exactly.
which I know some of you guys have seen. I do love good horror books and stuff like this. This has been solid.
You heard it here. Dennis likes good horror books.
Yeah, you did hear it here.
Horror books.
Or is it horror books?
Oh, I don't know.
So
See,
anyway,
I would take the left side, and Dennis likes the right side.
Yep. I like them slithery reptiles. By the way, I'm going to tell Susie you called her that tonight.
Nah, you can. She knows it's not true.
Oh no, it's after just like what you did with Oompa Loompa.
Well, you did call her that. Rise
Did
of
not.
Dracula.
Rise of Dracula. So we had Cult of Dracula. Rich had done that one. We got to meet him at the convention. I really enjoyed his take on that. This is number 2, which came out this week. Number 1 was he had grabbed number 1 for me, so I got number 1, which I'll also be putting a quick flip up. So I was really interested to see his continuation of it.
Yeah, it's tough because, Joe asked if we remember when the cover artist was the same as the interior. I will say that's one of the things I really liked working at CrossGen back in the day is we had a policy that if you drew the inside of the book, you also drew the cover.
Yeah.
So I do like that because, I like Lionel Francis Yu's artwork. I love it, but I'm not going to buy a book just because he drew the cover. I want to see the whole interiors by him. And same with like Adam Hughes and stuff like that. Sometimes watching you two is like watching Peter Griffin and Brian.
Yeah, and I'm definitely Brian.
I'm Brian. I was about to say.
No, I may look like Peter, but I'm definitely Brian. And last
but not least,
the book we both
got. That's right. Prophet, even though it doesn't have the logo on it, this is the Frank Miller cover for Prophet. Rob put out a facsimile edition of Prophet number 1 that came out in 1992, 30 years ago.
30 years already, because I remember when it came out, and I was excited.
I still have the original 1 through 4, drawn by Dan Panosian. So he put out a facsimile edition, and what can I say? I'm a sucker for that stuff. Dennis got the Miller cover. The comic shop I went to didn't have it. They had the Greg Capullo cover and a couple others. I got the Greg Capullo cover, which is a piece that Greg did back in 1995. Like I said, guilty pleasure. I still enjoy this stuff. Dan Panosian's art obviously has grown immensely. He doesn't even look like the same artist from back then. I like what Dan does now, but I got to say, I liked it when he drew these Prophet books. I liked the image style that was going kind of on back then. That house style Rob kind of had. And I dug the stuff. So, yes, I got this. Even though I already have it, I could say I got it in 1992 and I got it in 2022. Yeah,
it looks like there's a little extra at the end. So that's why I really wanted to pick it up. I'm very I am going to sit down. I haven't done the quick flip on it, but I'm curious. I really want to see. I remember buying this originally. So very excited.
Joe said we're more like Bill and Ted.
Excellent.
I like to think we're like Cagney and Lacey. Do you remember that?
Oh, I sure do. But no, we are nothing like Time Dale.
We're like Thelma and Louise.
What, going over a cliff?
Exactly. That's how it feels sometimes when we do this show, that we're just going over a cliff. Hey, Chad, what's up? I like the Stephen Platt issues. Yeah, Stephen Platt did some nice issues. That was a fun time in comics, kind of like H.H. was saying, our guest. Yeah. Those are the type of comics I love. They had fun stories, kick-ass artwork, and that's what I'm trying to bring to you guys. Or, here you go. Starsky and Hutch, I'll take that. Fred and Barney, I'll take that. Ponch and John, from Chips, some might say.
Wow, Ponch and John.
Ponch and
There's a
John.
reach.
But I'm going to debut for you guys the brand new trailer for First Man Volume 2.
I got to see this yesterday.
That's right. If you haven't backed it yet, go back it now. First Man's my book, a superhero for a new generation, high octane, high adventure fun. Let's look at the new trailer. Oh, yeah, there it is, the new trailer featuring a bunch of artwork from the book. First Man going up against Adonis, a threat like he's never seen before. Or like Kirk and Spock, I am kind of like Spock. I'm the logical one. But I'm also
I'm
like
the one
Kirk
who gets the women.
because I get the women.
No, you can't have it both ways. You suck.
Halfway through my I'm like Spock, I thought, damn it, he doesn't get the
too
women,
late.
though.
Too late. I do get the women.
Stippling Vaughn says, I'm just going to sit here and shake my head for Dennis. Well,
Thank
okay,
you. Thank you very much.
I guess.
By the way, was that not a great? I love that trailer. I thought it was very well done.
Thank you.
And Andy's voiceover was the best I've ever heard him do.
Yeah, well, you know, I riffed all of that. So there you go. But oh, thank you. Joe says sweet trailer, but no, these four. No, not in this one. Gotta show some new stuff. Whoa, no statement. Look at these four people. Not in this trailer. Not in this trailer. That one's still up.
They have expectations, Andy.
I know. But and Mike, by the way, Thin Blue Line met their Kickstarter. Oh yeah, dude, Thin Blue Line blew it out. Go check out how much it made on Indiegogo and Kickstarter combined. That thing's almost at $100,000. So that is awesome for those guys. I can't wait to get it. That's it. That's our show for today. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed the guest. The link for Calico is in the description below, so you can get these books. 1 through 3 are out. Number 4 is on Indiegogo. First Man, of course, is on Indiegogo. Please go back that as well if you haven't yet. Like and subscribe to our channel.
We're shooting for 1,500 now. We keep going up, and we get lots of great comments. So we're keep going up. Send it out to your friends. Make sure you guys. We just hope you enjoy the stuff. We love your feedback. We love your comments. We love doing this.
When we get 1,500 subscribers, I'll take my shirt off. I'll have this one on underneath.
I was going to say at least the outer one.
I'll have this one on underneath, but I'll take this shirt off.
But then he'll complain because it's cold in here.
Right. Then it might be a little nippy. You don't want me to get cold. You might see headlights. Ka-bing! So there you go. So anyhow, thank you for joining us. We always enjoy our time with you. We'll be back later, and we'll catch you guys later. It's time to go eat some dinner. Bye, everybody.
Live long and prosper.